still too much of a segregated community. We know that the healthiest communities are communities with very diverse populations. But if we have our poorest citizens living all in one area of a community, that's not good.
Many people living in urban and rural areas are unconsciously affected by what is known as a food desert. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, a food desert is defined as urban neighborhoods and rural towns without access to fresh, healthy, and affordable food. Food deserts are usually found in impoverished areas where there's a lack of grocery stores, farmers markets, and healthy food providers. Instead, these areas are heavy with convenience stores, fast food restaurants, and gas stations that provide mostly processed food which are high in calories, high pricing, and low in quality. The USDA's Economic Research Service estimates that 23.5 million people live in food deserts. More than half of those people are low income.
There are families that have routine crises in their lives. They're getting evicted. They might be victims of domestic violence or child abuse or the other, behavioral issues that we're trying to address. That's the last thing on their mind. They're just living day to day, so it becomes a perpetual cycle.
Food gardens were once popular and supplied 40% of the produce consumed in America by the end of World War I. In urban areas such as South City and Tallahassee, Florida, transportation can cause challenges to accessing stores with healthy options. Eric Virgil is a recent graduate from Florida A&M University. Before getting his scooter, he rode a city bus, which was often an inconvenience, like for many others living in the South City.
Yeah, my days when I didn't have a scooter, it was hard to get around because we only have a couple of locations in the area to get food from, and those locations aren't too well of choices. We have low distribution and a low quality of food, so you got really cheap and dirty food that you can get, and it'll fill you up for the moment, but it doesn't do any justice to you. Other than the satisfaction of being full. If I really wanted to get real food, I would have to catch a bus or catch a cab all the way to the other side of town where the real food's at.
For others who can't easily access public transportation, trips to the grocery store result in having to ask friends and family for rides. Miriam is an 81-year-old breast cancer survivor from Tampa, Florida, living in the town and country area. Miriam asks her friends and neighbors to take her to the store because she doesn't have a car of her own. Her brother, who originally used to take her to the grocery store, is recently operated and can no longer take her. Miriam says she shops at Walmart, Publix, El Bravo, and Save-A-Lot, all which are more than a mile away from her home. She's been so used to driving that she can't walk to the store, for her health doesn't allow her to walk long distances. She goes to the grocery store 2 to 4 times a month, depending on the necessities. In urban areas, healthy food options are very scarce and creates a problem when it comes to deciding on what to eat and sacrificing one's health.
You're just blowing money left and right. Whatever looks good, tastes good, you throw money at it. And that was my mentality for my first couple of years until I got financially wise. And I realized you can't be spending whatever on food because you might spend a lot on some good food today and be hungry tomorrow rather than spend some money on okay food today and be able to eat tomorrow. So I learned how to make smart decisions with my money. And some of those decisions involve compromise of eating at those poor quality places around here.
Residents living in food deserts have a hard time finding foods that are culturally relevant, fresh, and healthy. Food deserts often affect communities where residents have to compromise with what is available. People living in poor economic areas are 3 times more exposed to fast food restaurants than those living in wealthy areas. With limited options, many people living in food deserts get meals from fast food restaurants or convenience stores. Many grocery stores, such as New Leaf, doesn't typically expand to areas labeled as food deserts because of the risky challenges of the area not being profitable. Rural areas also have issues with food deserts with limited access to healthy food options. Greenville, Florida is located an hour and a half northeast from Tallahassee. When it comes to living in the country, residents have to travel farther to shop for food. In Greenville, there is barely any options for access to healthy foods. Many of the town's food marts are closed down. For easy shopping, residents rely on the couple of gas stations and Dollar General nearby. Fred Williams is a Tallahassee native living in Greenville. He's the owner of an antique shop and is a former cattleman. He's been living in Greenville for over 20 years.
When I moved here, was very active, really. It was an active little community. They had sawmills. The store was going real good. But the community seems to have a blight. It's just dropped. We've lost our businesses on Main Street here. We just can't seem to get ahead.
On Greenville's main street is Mr. Williams' Antique Shop, a closed-down pharmacy store, a burnt-down grocery store, and an old retired pecan garden. Terry Hampton and Kevin Gillen are both owners of Uptown Entertainment, a pool hall in hopes to attract more people to the area in order to bring back life to Greenville.
Oh yeah, we had grocery stores back in the day, but they vanished away.
The town's only grocery store was burnt down. There's only one food diner, and the Dollar General is often referred to as the mall or as a one-stop shop for food, clothes, and housing items. If residents want to shop anywhere else, they have quite a distance to go.
But you have to drive 15 miles away in order to get to a grocery store or restaurant.
I go to Winn-Dixie a couple times a week, and I go to Publix in Tallahassee maybe once or twice a week.
And how does it make you feel having to travel so long just to
Well,
those stores?
It's not good to have to travel that far. We need a little market here in our city. That's what we need, a grocery store.
Distance is not only a problem when it comes to traveling, but affordability also comes into play when it comes to having enough money for groceries and for gas.
Just say you going to get groceries, and really you got to have the money. You got to have the gas money to go get it. You got to have that. You might have the money to get the groceries with, but if you ain't got the gas money, then what?
Oh, I seen people stand on that corner right there waiting on the ride to go to Madison just to get groceries. That ain't got a car.
Like Miriam, residents who don't have a car in rural areas have to rely on other people to give them rides to the grocery store. Sometimes the hassle will eventually result into shopping at gas stations, which is often expensive and doesn't have many healthy food options.
Easier to buy foods that are unhealthy, junk food. It's much easier to buy that because it's more cost effective versus buying healthier foods, which if in a small town rural area, it may not be the same price as you'll find in another area, and that can add up and be, I guess, kind of very hard on your pockets financially.
Food deserts may be a striking problem, but there are many ways to solve the issue as a community or even as an individual. Marvin Stokes is a farmhand at the Alabama Street Farm located in the Frenchtown Historic District. He's a vendor at the Frenchtown Heritage Marketplace where he sells his locally grown fresh produce.
We just want to put something out there good in the community, and people, that's the first thing they say when they say, how much is your squash or sweet potatoes? $1.25 a pound. And they say, ooh, that's high. And then you go and you tell them, well, check out the supermarket. And they're like, yeah, you're right. You have to go through that whole little process. But I love the interaction with the customers. They get a good product, but we do need that money,
The Frenchtown Heritage Marketplace is where people have access to fresh produce. It's the only farmers market in the area to offer EBT access where customers can use SNAP benefits. Customers can even double SNAP dollars on the purchase of fresh produce, live plants, and local honey. Michelle Gomez is the executive director of the Frenchtown Heritage Marketplace. She's working on a study partnered with FAMU's Institute of Public Health on how to better connect with potential farmers market customers living in communities nearby.
It's difficult because you got to change habits, right? There's a huge industrial food system with billions of dollars behind it that we're combating to try to address the health disparities present in communities of color, the maternal and child health that is shocking in communities of color. So just getting the information out there and keeping at it, providing the access.
The project emphasizes on how to connect the local community and the consumption from farmers markets. The project, entitled Building the Consumer Base, Supporting the Farmers Market Solution to Food Deserts, is supported by a $200,000 grant award from the USDA.
There was one woman we interviewed who has 8 kids, and I'm asking her if she likes fruit. She said, yeah, I like fruit, but how do I buy it? I get a bag of apples and it doesn't even go around the room. And it's a hard question. You know, if you tell people to get 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, she's got 8 kids and a spouse. That's 10 people. That's 50 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. You know, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you afford that. So the project, this farmers market with the Fresh Access Bucks program is one of the ways we get toward affording enough servings for a family of that size. It's not possible, even if you're shopping at Walmart.
For many people, being able to identify fruits and vegetables is an issue. The lack of education on healthy food is practically non-existent when it's compared to images of fast foods.
Many of them in some of these areas have no idea, they can't identify basic fruits and vegetables.
Courtney Atkins is the executive director at Whole Child Leon. Whole Child Leon is a program that seeks to engage with and educate the community, particularly children, to help them thrive.
We have a game we play with them where they stick their hand in a box and inside the box is a cucumber or a pepper or an orange, and they try to identify what it is by just feeling it. And we see that there's 6-year-olds that can't identify a cucumber. So by talking about the importance of fresh fruits and vegetables, the parents hear it, the kids hear it. We try to help them understand that at the grocery, our food doesn't come from the shelf of a grocery store. Many of these young children don't understand that these vegetables and fruits come from the ground, from a seed.
Like Whole Child Leon, the Healthy Start program promotes that every child deserves a healthy start in life. Donna Hagan is the Healthy Start executive director. One of the Healthy Start strategies is to address what is causing the obesity epidemic in communities.
Women who are obese when they become pregnant are going to have a preterm delivery because there's going to be a medical intervention where they deliver before 37 weeks. Gestational diabetes, hypertension, all those things come into play. That baby that's born before 37 weeks has a 60% more likelihood of being born underweight. So the low birth weight and the rates of obesity correlate. So that's one of our strategies.
In South City, the Piggly Wiggly grocery store is soon to open in place of where the old Harvey supermarket once was. The store will be owned by Florida A&M University alumnus Roy Moore.
We have the same product, but we procure our product, buy it down, sell it to our customers at a lower price. Those guys, some of those people markup is around 35-45%. We work on a much lower margin than they do.
Piggly Wiggly buys its products from the same place as Publix and Whole Foods. However, the store sells its products at a lower cost.
A lot of the national companies have to go and talk to New Jersey, New York, wherever for the home office, wherein our office is within the store, so we can make decisions and we can be involved with the community, those type things.
For many, food deserts are very common and a huge problem for our community's health and future.
Everybody likes to eat, but don't nobody want to grow that.
However, the solution starts with one step, one voice, and one seed.